What's up, college football fans and Mean Green fans? Sonoy Valente here once again with the Mean Green Show. Today, joined by Nathan from Go Tech Please Don't Die, and we're going to preview the North Texas Louisiana Tech game for this Saturday. But before we get into all that, guys, you already know the drill. If you're a fan of college football or G5 football, consider hitting that like and subscribe button because that's truly all that we talk about. Nathan, thank you for jumping on. We were just talking pre-tape. This is our third season in a row to do this together. And I forget, but doesn't Louisiana Tech and North Texas have is this the last year or is there a couple more coming up with our?
So I think we play again next year. I think it's either next year or the year after. We have a home and home scheduled with y'all. And then after that, who knows? It may be a while before I'm back on here.
Man, I hope not. I think it's a good rivalry of the low place friends in low places. But
High
anyway,
places, high places.
That's right. That's right. It is. So just kind of jumping into the preview of the game, Hank Buckmeyer, I'm assuming that's how you pronounce his name, the transfer from Boise State. What does he bring to this offense?
What he definitely does bring is high completion percentage. He is the kind of guy to throw the ball to the right spot. In the first game against FIU, it took a little bit to get that going, took a little bit for him to get his confidence. But at least after the SMU game that we had last week, we were top 15 or something in completion percentage in the country. Granted, a lot of those have been to screen passes, things like that, that a lot of our fan base has complained about in terms of where's the big play, where's the big play. And we've gotten those too. We actually, I think, are top 15 in explosiveness with a passing offense right now. So we can move the ball down the field in big chunk plays or tiny little screen passes that don't go anywhere and really nothing in between. So he brings completion percentage. He brings the ability to get the ball to his receivers. The issue is that our receivers have been a little underwhelming this year.
Offensively, besides Bachmeier, who are some other weapons that North Texas needs to be concerned with?
Yeah, Keith Willis is the name I'm going to shout out first. He had his first carry came in the final drive against FIU, and his first reception was the touchdown that won that game. So he is the kind of guy that is a true freshman, showed up out of nowhere. We had a couple running backs go down with injury. He came in, stepped up immediately. He had two huge runs against Northwestern State this past weekend. Broke out. I think one was a 68 yarder. The other one may have been a 40 something yarder. But either way, he's a tank. He's a guy that is scary just to watch him on TV because you feel like he's going to run you over in your own house. And it's insane the kind of thing that he's been able to do just as a freshman.
Offensively, what do you think Louisiana Tech's game plan is going to be against North Texas this Saturday?
Yeah, and what we've done so far has been not exactly what we were promised when we hired Sonny Cumbie to be our new head coach. We expected a high octane passing offense, just go, 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 hurry up, that kind of thing. What we really got instead was a much more mix. We ran the ball a lot in all three of the games we've played so far this year, especially against Northwestern State this past weekend because it was working. I think we averaged 6 point something yards per carry. They're an FCS school, but still, we are able to move the ball at will with a running game. And I think that's what he wants to do. Yes, we have Hank Bachmeier in to be the big name QB guy, but if we can win by running, that's what Sonny Cumbie wants to do.
What does North Texas, switching over to defensively. So yeah. What do you think the biggest strengths for Louisiana Tech is defensively?
Well, by process of elimination, it's pass defense. Run defense has been awful. I think we were the worst or second worst team in the country defending the run a year ago, and it hasn't improved as much as we had hoped this year. Every game will give off a huge run. There'll be a 60, 70, 80-yard run given up at some point this weekend against North Texas. Which running back that will be from y'all, I have no idea, but it's going to happen. But the pass defense, especially one guy by the name of Willie Roberts, has been really impressing me so far. He was a good player last year. He's a great player this year, playing one of the cornerback positions. And you may not hear his name called because he's going to be playing such great shutdown defense that you just won't ever hear about him. But that's why the ball will never be thrown to that side of the field. It's because he's there.
You said last year you guys had the nation's least or the nation's worst rush defense. Is that what you said?
Yeah, it was worst or second worst. I don't have it in front of me, but it was bad.
Like that. Well, there might be a new sheriff in town when it comes to that, but We'll see. So what does North Texas have to do to go into Ruston and pull off a win? First win for North Texas of this
Yeah.
season.
I think the big thing is not to fall behind early. If our offense is clicking, we can move the ball. We can get the big play. We can end up 14 nothing up and just a couple big passing plays or a run broken out or something like that. We can go up big early. The issue for y'all then would be you'd have to abandon the run game. And I think that's where you can beat Tech is if you can commit to the run, continue to run, even when it doesn't seem like that may be the best thing to do, but keep the ball on the ground because you'll find your way to the end zone that way. We've got some shutdown corners. Our defensive backs have gotten better week over week as well, and so it's possible to move the ball through the air against Louisiana Tech, but it's much easier, even if it comes in shorter chunks. They're much more reliable if you pick it up through the ground.
So I have a kind of a new guest on the podcast for this season. He's a former player, and his name's Ryan Davenport. But anyway,
Okay.
he kind of echoed what I'm about to say. So I went to my first game in Ruston. And we talked about it back when I was a freshman in high school, and took University of Hawaii to the wire, which they were a really good team that year. And it just seems throughout the years, whether it's A&M, SMU, of course, North Texas, but even like bigger schools, it just for whatever reason, and Ryan echoed this sentiment of Ruston's a hard place to play at. It's for whatever reason, it just seems that that's the case. Do you feel that as a Louisiana Tech fan, or is that something that you you would not agree with?
It's odd. You'd think for the kind of record we have at Joe IA Stadium that we would be selling out the stadium, that we'd have a huge home field advantage when it came to the crowd. And there've been some games where, I mean, at least the lower deck is full kind of thing, but these past few years have not been those kinds of years. But for whatever reason, our teams have been playing better at home, whether it's home cooking, home sleeping, home something. Basketball is the same way too. We had the I wish I knew the exact the numbers here, but in basketball, we had what the third longest home winning streak in the country for a while, dating back years, and that eventually came to an end. But we were just so good at home, and I'm not sure what the secret sauce is. I'm not really sure what makes Reston so difficult to play in for an opposing team, but we have that long history of upsetting teams in Ruston, and they choose not to come back very often.
Um, Before we do a point prediction, do you sorry, I'm blanking on that question I just had. This is not good. I just had an ending question for you. Shoot, I think I just lost it. You know what? It's okay. If I think about it during this point prediction question,
Yeah,
I'll ask it. But
you can jump back.
possibly the closing question here. Can we get a score prediction from you for this game?
Yeah, I think right now what Vegas has it as a 3.5 point game for Louisiana Tech winning, which is about what home field advantage is in a lot of these predictors. I think that that's true. Before the season started, the rest of us at Go Tech Please Don't Die, we were kind of going back and forth of whether or we not North Texas, whether or not this would be a game that Tech could win. And while this team hasn't really inspired me to think that this is now a world beating team, I don't see this as a team that will win Conference USA, even though they certainly can if they improve in time. But North Texas has also not been the team that I think we were afraid of at the beginning of the year. The loss to FIU is what everyone points to right now. And having beat FIU by a point and that happening last week to North Texas, I think this is the same thing. I think that Tech beats North Texas, especially because it's at home, and that will help a bit. And I think that 3 points sounds fair. I think it's a field goal because we've got a great kicker this year, so I think he hits the game winner.
I remember the question that I forgot. So,
Okay.
at least maybe from the fans, is there any kind of extra, juice or anything like that? Being that North Texas left Conference USA for the American, you know what I mean? Kind of like, okay, you
Yeah.
left, and you come here, and you potentially may get beat, right? But is there any extra sizzle there, or not really so much?
I haven't seen any. There may be, right? But I think that no one in Ruston blames North Texas for wanting to go to the American Athletic. You didn't go to the Sun Belt, so we're good. So there's not any hatred there. There's a bit of jealousy, of course, like why I wish we could have gone as well. But that isn't really a point to get fired up about. It's more like, okay, we know y'all. We've played y'all for the past few years. We can pretend like we're just conference mates again for a little bit at least and play this game. And that's what I really appreciate, even though we're in different conferences now, is that we have another regional team that we can play not every year, but every few years we can get another one of these home and homes together and travel to Denton, and y'all can travel to Ruston, and then we can still play a team in Dallas or Dallas area every few years, which helps our alumni base because most of Louisiana Tech's alumni, the largest alumni center is in Dallas. So RAD wants to put games in Dallas, and having home and homes helps with that.
Nathan, thank you so much for jumping on. In closing, go Mean Green. And as you always say, here's to Tech going and hopefully not dying. Is that what you say in closing?
That is it. Yes.
That's what I thought, man. That's what I thought. But thank you so much. Looking forward to the game. And again, hopefully we have many more of these in our future.
Yeah, I hope so too.
All right. Take care.